necessarily taken over any games.
Dyrus not happy with going even anymore. It does put that new aggression under his belt. We'll see how he does. We know Dyrus actually bring back the locked camera. He was one to do that as well.
Here's a really interesting thing that CLG has left Lulu completely unbanned.
That's true.
And Link has destroyed people with Lulu. I don't know if Reginald plays it. He said he hadn't really played for 5 months. His champion pool is very small overall. His Gagas was great yesterday, but it's one of the few champions he plays. If he is to play Lulu mid, it's going to be on a very low amount of practice, and they're going to let it through to CLG.
They don't want Dexter getting that Elise. He was able to get it in weeks 6, 7, and 8, and he is 100% on that champion. He said in the interviews, other teams didn't think, or he didn't think other teams would let him get it, and they're not gonna. Dyrus picks that up for OddOne this time. We'll see what CLG does have. They could get that Sivir for Doublelift. Both WildTurtle and Doublelift have played Sivir a lot of times. 6 times on the side of WildTurtle and 4 for Doublelift.
And across both of them, they've only had 1 defeat.
Yeah.
So really important stuff. If CLG wanted to go for the speed comp, they would go Sivir Lulu eventually. They end up going for Morgana right now, which I do have to do a bit of an aside on Morgana here, because we are on the 4.3 patch, and she is making a huge resurgence. Just because of Black Shield and the way that it can stop Vi ganks, Leona support, Thresh hooks, it has made a huge resurgence in 4.2, and now with the new support item Spell Thief's Edge getting the buffs, it is just so much better. Probably the best support in the game right now.
Well, they do consider that support can also stop a team that's kind of stampeding into you with that Soul Shackle with a Glitter Lance. So they take what they can on that. Morgana Lulu is going to be the pick for CLG. Now they see that Sivir is taken with a Renekton in the top lane. That's only 2-0 for Dyrus. It hasn't been one of his big picks, but still one of his better picks, and it does allow him to go for that aggressive play. Yeah,
it's the most aggressive of the top laners that these guys play, especially with Ryze taken out of the table. As far as Nien being able to play something new up there, I think it's very critical that TSM picked Sivir there, just so they can match the Lulu speed and slow with the speed of Sivir and have some type of matching. I think if CLG would have locked down both those champions, they would have just easily out-rotated TSM.
Shyvana and the Jarvan being locked in here for Counterlogic Gaming.
Yeah, that Jarvan is a big call-out. It was Dexter's most played champion in Season 3 when he was a member of Lemon Dogs, and by far his most successful champion, but he has yet to bring it out in the NA LCS. There has been a huge fall-off of Jarvan in the 2014 season in combination with some of the item changes, but mainly because the width of his EQ combo was decreased and it is more difficult to land.
It's definitely going to be a tough pick to even get the ultimates in with. It's only going to be Sivir and Annie that can't get out of that ultimate. Everybody else has a way to get themselves out, so they're going to have to make these fights count when CLG gets to that point. Still waiting for the last pick on their side. Aphromoo has the Morgana, so he's going to be picking in here. They're looking for something in the mid lane. No, not the mid lane. Sorry, for Link. They're looking for something in that.
It's a remarkably similar composition that TSM has played as well from yesterday. And yeah, this is the 80 carry choice for Double. I'd imagine he'd go with something like a Caitlyn, but it depends on how much damage he feels like he has to add to this team. A fairly lowish damage jungler in Jarvan if Dexter decides to go that way. He might think he needs to do a bit more damage, but Caitlyn would be the lane win pick against a Sivir if you're looking at Doublelift, who in the past has picked to win lane.
Doublelift not really communicating too much. He's allowing the team to say, he's like, what do you guys,
tell me what to play.
What do you need? Yeah. What do we need? And I'll fill that position with
Aphromoo is doing the talking for the group. Doublelift's just affirming what he's saying.
Fastball, fast curveball, fast curveball. All right, fast curveball.
Damn it.
It is. He has actually played this 5 times. Doublelift could bring it out of 6th here. It will be locked in. Goes back for the Vayne. Let's see how they play this lane. He gives the head nod there as a final lock-in.
It's exciting. What I like about this Vayne pick here is they used to almost always combo Vayne with Lulu support, because since Vayne generally likes to move through team fights instead of sitting in the back, the extra shielding and movement speed and health that Lulu provides was very beneficial. But now that they have both the Black Shield and the Lulu shields, expect Doublelift to kind of get up close and personal in team fights and try and carry like that with Vayne. Even more protection than he's used to having. on that champion. Very interesting pick.
I expect Link to go very aggressive. We've seen him getting level 2 into level 3 kills. He levels as he's going for the attack, and he's been able to get 1v1 kills in mid with that Lulu. Reginald, like we said, coming off of play at Worlds was the last time we saw him compared to this week and his last few games. So maybe he still doesn't have that level 2 prepared in his mind.
But if we think about it, you know, the game versus Coast yesterday where Reginald had to go up against Shifter, he went 6-0-14.
He did lock it down.
Absolutely an LCS caliber player right now, maybe even near the top of the mid laners, and Link is just going to be another test for him.
We'll see what happens. The game about to get underway. Let's check your predictions at lolesports.com. 70% of you think that Team Solomid will take the first win of the day. Still a pretty good vote in their favor, especially with CounterLogic's game 5 streak. As
far as TSM games go, though, 70% is low, if we think about it. They're usually up around the 80 or 90 mark. It just kind of goes to show how far CLG has come as a team since the acquisition of Dexter. It was such a topsy-turvy start of the season with roster changes everywhere. And now that they've finally settled in, they really seem to be on a hot streak.
Yeah, and you were speaking about WildTurtle and Doublelift earlier. Looking at their KDAs, that's our featured matchup for this one, the carries. It's 8.22 for WildTurtle and 4.36 for Doublelift, which is what we said was a little opposite last time. It was Doublelift with that 8.22 in the kills, but that just reaffirms he's providing more utility for the team, helping out the team in more ways than just a split push. On to the Rift, TSM versus CounterLogic Gaming as we kick off day 2 of Super Week.
Crowd a little hype for this one, obviously.
Yeah.
First game of our 6 games of LCS here. Super Week Saturday, day 2, week 8 of the LCS.
And a super quick pause to start this one off. Looks like Xpecial is just going to get a chat out. We do see that Spell Thieves once again on the Morgana and the Dorans for Annie, not the Ruby, the Dorans.
And to get back to the AD carry matchup, we did so much talking in that feature matchup about how Doublelift was, he played Sivir and he provided support and move speed for his team, and he's not going for the kills anymore. Yet they just swapped again. WildTurtle's on Sivir, who can obviously do a lot of damage, but is more of the team support AD carry, and Doublelift is on Vayne. Xpecial, by the way, is just doing a quick restart of his client. He had a pinging bug, so it's rather important for the support to be able to ping things in these games. A quick client restart will fix that issue, and we should be getting back into the game pretty soon.
And Xpecial himself has really focused Thresh, Leona, and Annie. We see Aphromoo has kind of delved out into Alistar, Lulu, Morgana in that bottom lane. CLG has a lot more that they're willing to try. Not that TSM isn't, but that they're bringing to the table and really kind of getting under teams.
Well, TSM has always talked about their generic style of preparation. It's really shown throughout every season of competitive play they've done. They just pick the champions they want to learn, and they learn how to adapt that to every other team they play against.
All right.
Actually, I had a funny interaction with Doublelift and Dexter the other day. I was talking with Doublelift and saying, oh yeah, everyone's playing support Morgana. You guys going to be trying that? And he was about to tell me how great support Morgana is and all the things that he could do. And Dexter came up, he's like, why do you always tell everyone about what we're going to be playing? You're not allowed to talk before the games. And I'm like, all right, don't worry about it. I wasn't going to tell anyone.
Yeah, that's why they're doing so well. Dexter's got the lockdown on all the strategies.
And then I went and told everyone. But it's too late. They picked Morgana.
We're going to see it in the streams.
Yeah.
Exactly. Why don't you stream? You and Kobe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same excuse as XTG. Bad internet sometimes.
Oh, I would have figured it was just a ton of like crystal balls in the background that you use per day, and you're like, I haven't cleaned them up yet. Just can't do it. So we're waiting for this pause to go underway. TSM versus CounterLogic Gaming. Big game, rivalry, as we say. I think a lot of people are going to be happy with the decision of 70-30, at least TSM fans, but CounterLogic Gaming is definitely themselves. That's not the percentage they should be getting, because with 5 straight wins, they have 8 more to go before that win streak is really something they can take.
Ways away.
It's a very long way away, but seeing them beat TSM here would be a huge step towards that and would affirm the fact that they can do it over and over.
You can hear all those pings coming out right now, checking to make sure it's working just good.
I think it's working.
Sounds good. And there's the top lane duel. Now, this is interesting because normally these guys feel safe up there. There's actually a trap being plotted by CLG. They're going to try and move into that brush. And they've done it. Don't go too far, Dyrus.
He's trying to be aggressive.
He's a little low. There's no reason for him to get too close to Nien. Oh, if this worked, it would be genius. This happened actually to Aphromoo at the very start of the season. He got 3-man ganked. It was actually during Battle of the Atlantic, I believe. He got 3-man ganked in the bottom lane brush and just ruined his morale for the game. Nien doesn't want Dyrus to go back. Even if TheOddOne comes over, it'd still be a 3v2. Careful. The Dark Binding has to be perfect.
OddOne, no! OddOne, oh no, he goes to spider form. I don't think this is what he wanted. The itsy bitsy spider goes down. First blood, 1 minute 30 for CLG.
And it went to Doublelift's vein. Those cheeky level 1 plays. You know, those top lanes, it's all fun and games. Until someone gets hit by a Dark Binding and stunned into the wall.
Oh, reminiscent of the Reginald Zillion. Unfortunate.
One important thing to note is we don't often see First Bloods before the 2-minute mark. They're only worth 60% of the gold that they would be at the 4-minute mark. So normally it would be 400 gold for the kill, 200 gold for assist pool. Yeah. It is 60% of that for this one. So not as valuable of a kill. Doublelift actually can't buy any full items off of that, but he will be substantially farther towards his first Vamp Scepter. Surprised
there wasn't at least some inkling that there would be a lane swap with the Morgana, or rather the Vayne versus Sivir. Not an awesome matchup for Doublelift, so.
It's actually a little surprising that they're staying with the lane swap and that wasn't just for the kill. Sivir and Annie are going to be able to shove in that turret very quickly, and Morgana and Vayne aren't exactly Jinx level as far as pushing turrets down. If TSM wants to do the turret swap with this, they could absolutely kill their turrets faster than CLG can and maybe get a bit of an advantage that way. Very aggressive invade here.
This is what you
but
get.
But OddOne's not going to be there, so this is easily taken by Dexter. And that was really clever, what just happened there from CLG, because they took their own blue to the other blue, and OddOne had nothing to counter with. He's going to be taking a white and pushing the lane. But as far as buffs are concerned, Dexter's got a big lead. Double blues.
Trying to get to that bottom lane so they can at least counter the turret damage that's going to happen in the top lane. Yeah, we see Nien going back into the jungle. So back to the turrets. We may even go to second tier on this one. It usually happens around 5 minutes if the teams do stick with this strategy. And then they both kind of go into the stalemate mode. Who can push faster after these turrets go down?
Yeah, I wonder if Dyrus is going to try and hold that turret at all or just completely give it away. One thing to note is that Jarvan will give the entire team 10% attack speed when he puts down his standard. Maybe help them kill that a little faster.
Oh, I was saying Link was going to be the one to come up on the level 2-3, but Reginald really getting a nice body slam in. The Ignite's down. Link can still get an Ignite initiation down if he gets Dexter at the right time.
And these are even with the slight Gagas nerfs that happened in the 4.3 patch. His body slam, his AD ratio on it is 0.3 in its first rank as opposed to 0.66 at all ranks like it used to be. But Gagas is still a monster burly, levels pretty much 1 through 3 in lane. Almost nobody can stick with him, and Reginald recognized that, went hard for Link.
It doesn't seem like it took Reggie too long to get back to his old ways of being aggressive, knowing he can take down one of the strongest mid lanes in North America right now. Doesn't hesitate to do that. 4 minutes into the game, he gets a good advantage there. Turret in the top lane is going to be going down. Aphromoo could be getting hit up quite hard here. Condemn against the wall. Can the Ignite come out? Afro doesn't get it off.
Afro did get very low, but a timely stun by Double put him back from that. That turret's about to go down as well, so this lane swapping not really hurting CLG as long as TSM doesn't get any additional objectives off of their early turret takes. And it doesn't look like they're pushing for anything extra. If TSM were to have wanted to get something more after taking the bot turret, they would have had to rotate up to the mid lane or even the top lane to stop this. But since they did it, it's just a turret trade, and Double is actually quite ahead in farm.
Yeah, that's going to be nice. He has that first kill. That turret gold is going to go to him and Aphromoo for being close as well. Still the first and only blood of the game. Nien was able to get an assist on that, which is nice because he's on the other side of the map, so getting a little help early was good for him here.
Yeah, able to keep up in levels. Not what happened to him yesterday when the lane swaps happened.
He's still level 1 right now.
Yeah, he was on Rise, who couldn't jungle like Shyvana has been doing. Nien taking a lot of these small camps in the jungle, while Dexter was actually playing like a laner in the from the jungle position. And top lane Jarvan.
It's like Dyrus staying tried and true with his second Doran's Blade to trying to be aggressive, but keep himself alive here. Doublelift keeps going hard, trying to get Silverbolt procs on as much as possible.
Interesting roam there by Reginald. Losing a few creeps to his turret as well.
Yeah.
I wonder how passive TSM is going to remain here, knowing that they've kind of been dictated to in the early game thus far. And they haven't picked lanes that necessarily like that. If they pick Elise in the jungle, who is one of the strongest early game junglers, Renekton in the solo lane, they're expected to actually be winning this early game fairly substantially. But CLG, with some sneaky moves and good rotations, have pulled out an 800 gold lead.
Well, it looks like they may pull out a bigger lead. We see Nien and the rest of the team coming down towards bottom. Might be a dragon time here very early in the game. If they can get the positioning, it'd be quite scary. It looks like they're all forming for it.
This is the rotation down from CLG Link.
Woo. Nice flash for flash.
Yeah, tricky flash over that wall. We've seen many of flashes fail on that one. CLG getting warded out in the bot lane as well. Gonna have to push this as quickly as possible. They got to rotate actually pretty quickly here. Yeah, Nien's got to get out of there so he can go top and get that farm against Dyrus.
Yeah, nothing coming out of this.
Not going to happen. They're going to stop him.
He's
very smart move by TSM here.
Great play around the map. Good communication.
They can stop him again. He's right on a ward.
They are actually still going for Dragon with Nien backing the bottom lane. He's saying, you should be more worried about me than the Dragon gold we're about to get.
Well, it's Dragon gold, but it's also sacrificing a lot of turret damage on the other side because Dyrus is off hitting that turret and getting a wave advantage. Now, when they've given this Dragon away, it's going to be interesting to see if Dyrus can bully Nien. Nien has been put into a very difficult situation here. Dyrus level 6, full offensive build, double Thorns against a Doran Shield, Ninja Tabi, Shyvana. As far as actual dueling, that is atrocious for Nien. He is going to get crushed by Dyrus if he gets into a fight. Whoopsie.
And got it. All right, level 6 now for Link in the mid lane. Reginald is level 7. He just hit level 7 though. So they are actually a full level apart. Reginald 59 to 42 in that lane, 50 to 30 of CS in the top lane. Dyrus has been having a field day with CS.
Got to commend TSM's ward spots. They're really catching where CLG wants to wait for things. Previously it was a Shyvana in the brush, Aphromoo standing in. Now it's Dexter sitting on a ward as well, trying to get a gank. TSM's almost trying to bait this one out. But if they... Whew, this takes a bit of damage. It wasn't much of a bait.
Reginald not going to be able to offer too much. Dexter not coming up with anything on that gank. Usually we see him have a bigger hand so far in the game. We'll see how this affects him without getting too much of what he needs right now. Or not much of what he needs, I should say. 400 gold in the lead for Counter Logic Gaming. The turrets are even, with that one being dropped in the top side and the bottom.
And about 200 of CLG's extra gold is because Aphromoo has a Frost Fang right now. That new Spell Thief's Edge upgrade. He's getting 200 gold from it thus far on Morgana just from harassing a little bit. Lane-wise, everything else seems to be evening out. And if we discount that first blood, might be TSM in the hit.
Discount that first blood, but don't discount Nien. Dragon's Descent gets him out. Very scary situation for him there. Dexter was almost on the backside for some help, but I think it would have gone awry altogether. Reggie trying to put the poke under the turret. Good hit onto Link. He's really giving Link a hard time. We've seen Link even be the one to roam. We saw his level 5 Ziggs roam the other week to really bring CLG up, but not much can happen this game.
Yeah, this turret's getting extremely low, and they might want to have to fight this. They do not want to.
There's the lock-in. Nice job. Dexter actually puts himself in front in the end, but may still take too much damage. Get a little too sure of themselves.
They should not have been under that turret. They didn't realize how low it was, and so much of CLG's strategy, as we get TSM chance coming through, so much of CLG's strategy is around movement right now. Nien with the Ninja Tabi, that's not really combat effectiveness, so if they get trapped into 2v2s like that, they have to avoid them. They can't get trapped into isolationist lane scenarios. That is not what their item builds or their strategy thus far has been built around.
Well, that was enough to make it 700 gold in the lead for Team Solomid. Second turret going down, and Reginald is now going to be able to open up the jungle by himself. You can see the confidence. He doesn't know where Dexter is right now, but he's really not worried either.
Dexter burned his ultimate in death as well. That's really going to set him back as far as ganks are concerned. See what Link can dodge here.
Aggressive Reggie. A good shield on the body slam. Hits him back. Going to have a cast of blue buff. Not to a blue buff. It looks like Reggie may be able to finish enough damage here. He's got to be careful. Dexter coming back. No ultimate. No, the flash coming in for the drag of the flag. And level up on Dexter. He's going to be able to use not much in the rest of this fight. Very back and forth. Now Aphromoo, a new challenger, approaches on the fight, and he tries to throw out a binding. Everybody's just missing a little bit on each engagement. Coming back in, Doublelift flashes the binding, condemn against the wall, one more shot, and he gets the long-range snipe onto Reginald.
Big play by Doublelift, landing the skill shots after flashing the stun. Now CLG trying to push on mid lane after that crazy engagement in the middle.
Wow, everybody was just shrugging off the next attack after the next attack. That one counted though, Doublelift making it work for himself. CLG is going to get out of this, and they get a little bit of pressure in mid lane. Not too much to work off of, but good
This
goal.
game is so pivotal right now. Dyrus trying to exert his advantage into the jungle. CLG trying to push him out.
Like he doesn't know what he's getting himself into with the fog of war being on Dyrus' side there. OddOne clearing out. Pink ward's coming down now from Team Solomid as they try to regain their side of the map. Not losing it too much, but they know that CLG is getting a good upper hand here with Doublelift on 2 kills already.
The ward play in this game has been really interesting as well. I think TSM is completely outwarding CLG in most of these situations. They're finding the right spots for Pink, and they have caught CLG with a lot of their wards as well. Now they're going to try and brute force this push down the mid lane. They've got CLG somewhat contained, and they have all of their ultimates up as well. So CLG might have to fight this off. They're too low.
On the hunt, gets thrown down. Turret's going to be the focus still as Nien puts himself in the fight. He goes Dragon's Descent onto OddOne and Turtle, trying to mitigate a bit of the damage. The Boomerang coming out big with a few of the ricochets is a double kill for Wild.
Yeah, CLG is just not able to go in on this. TSM is too strong as a 5-man unit right now. The Gagas and Renekton combined are just brute forcing down these 2 middle turrets. Huge move there by TSM.
WildTurtle taking 2 turrets with the team there and getting himself a kill. Not a double kill. 2-2 now on the scoreboard. TSM is answering back for everything that CLG's thrown at him.
CLG just lost all control. Losing their 2 middle turrets and also being down the side lane turrets means their jungle is a complete danger zone right now. Just to watch this fight, second time CLG's been stuck around a turret that is about to die, and then they get engaged upon. They're pretty much in full retreat mode, which against Sivir is very difficult to do. Once TSM got the kill, everyone on CLG was low enough, and they could just take the second turret.
Oh. Trying to get out, gets the shield down. It's going to get a little bit of a slow, but OddOne not having too much of a problem there. 13 minutes into the game, we'll say, because it is 4-1 like it is. Dragon is up, and it looks like CLG may have this one again, and it's not going to be a TSM turret on the other side this time.
There's going to be maybe a steal attempt by the TheOddOne, or even just a fight.
It looks like OddOne goes in, condemned against the wall. He's low on mana, but still in spider form. Wild Growth goes out. They're going to get the flash in. One blast, ricochet. Actually, the auto attack coming out from WildTurtle. He as well goes long range on the hits as Doublelifted earlier.
Reginald's behind them.
Kill coming out nicely. We'll see if Reggie can get a good body slam into position.
He got dark minded.
Yep.
Aphromoo saved him there. Huge plays from TSM across the board, though. The fact that CLG got that dragon, though, keeps them at least a little bit in this game. It is so hypercritical. What does Nien do? And he's 2 levels behind Dyrus right now.
This will be a pretty crazy fight. Like we said, Nien does not have combat stats. He has defensive stats right now.
Got move speed at least.
A little bit of Dragon's Descent with the burnout and some movement speed can get him to safety.
Where are you going?
The team's not getting anything off of this as well, but he's also kind of by just taking Dyrus' time up. I don't know, this is kind of awkward. I think he's going to make it out safely, though.
Well, he got a ward down, so...
Worth.
Congratulations.
Completely Worth. Ward is down. The white covered.
Oh my. Yeah, this dragon fight one more time is just a lot of damage got bursted down by the TheOddOne, and check the auto attack from WildTurtle. It'll follow him through that. Yep. And then the biggest thing here is since the Wild Growth was used on Dexter and he still died, when Link got caught, he had no defensive capabilities left of his own, so it turned into a double kill. That kind of evens out the gold that CLG got from the dragon.
Turned into a whoopsie. 15 minutes into this one, quickly escalating for Team Solomid. 4-2 now, 4 turrets to 1, and 3,000 gold in their pocket. 2 of them recent kills have gone over to WildTurtle. They're trying to pressure top lane. And
TSM needs to continue to force right now. They have the level 11 on Dyrus and soon to be the level 11 on Reginald. Those are 2 of the strongest points in the game for Gagas and Renekton. I believe those, I think they both get outscaled by Shyvana and Lulu if the game were to get to that point. So TSM's going to keep up this advantage and keep up the pressure.
Going very hard on Nien. Whoa!
Wrong direction.
That's a gigantic shield. Dexter trying to get in the fight, but nobody can get out of the Cataclysm. They all kind of got themselves stuck in a rock and a hard place, but right now they saved the turret. They got to go back in for another fight.
CLG not on the same page at that point. The shields all went down on Shyvana as she went the wrong way. They might have actually been able to win that 4v4, but not anymore. They are all way too low from the poke from the blue buff Gagas, and they have to forfeit the second turret. They should not get caught overstaying another turret here.
They're very low, taking poke one after the other. Spider's not going to find a home on that one. And it looks like TSM is just waiting. They know they're going to get something out of this. It's just a matter of time for them. CLG is staying in that spot.
Well, CLG did go back and heal on Link, but the rest of them are still fairly low, and Nien is still just level 9. He has been heavily denied by the TSM team, and there's another round of turret assault by TSM.
They know some ults are down on the side of Team Solomid, but going into a fight half health is never a smart thing to do, especially when you're already down in the game. As much as they want to save this turret, they're going to have to give it up. TSM is not going to give up before it goes down.
It's been a long siege up here. 30 seconds per minion wave. This is the third wave to come in. Nien's still trapped at level 9. The longer TSM can starve CLG from gold, the better. They're going to stay in this situation pretty much until the turret falls or CLG forces a disadvantageous fight.
They have to realize one time after the other, the damage on the turret is more than what they can clear. This is going to be Nien again in the fight. The turret goes down. CLG attempts to fight. They have 2 down already. This is an easy focus now on the Doublelift. They get him as well, and CLG pulls the same thing.
Exactly what we expected to happen there. CLG, 3rd time in a row. They have overstayed their welcome at a dead turret, and it's cost them every single time. TSM is capitalizing, and now they may have an insurmountable advantage as they go for a 17-minute Baron.
7-2. We said escalating very quickly here. It was just 15 minutes when TSM was starting that siege. It took them 2.5 to put themselves in position for Baron. Position for a very good push after this as well. The entire team's going to be able to get it down. Actually, Link's going to be able to do some good damage here. Lulu could really affect this fight. A good glitter lance over the wall. Dyrus puts himself in there. The little lance is for the steal, but the smite comes down. And Link does not go for the damage initially. He tries to go for the steal overall.
Link had to try, I think, in that situation. Even though he died and had a very low chance of stealing the Baron against an Elise with smite. Giving up a 17-minute Baron when already being down 5 turrets to 1 is basically game over. Take a look at this fight again. Remember, Nien is level 9, and even though the ultimate didn't hit him, it still isolated the rest of CLG. They didn't have their big ultimates up for this either. It was, you know, CLG has had some success this year with flank attacks on that turret specifically, but that only works when you have a better teamfight composition and you have your skills up. They didn't even have ultimates for that one. TSM rolled through them. It is just CLG not being on the same page right now in this game against TSM. And TSM absolutely is on the same page. They're the ones making the correct decisions. They're the ones putting the pressure down. They're the ones getting the turrets in what looks like a victory.
He's coming in very big. You can see that tweet about Dyrus just now. He did play very strong in the top lane with Nien not getting to where he needs to be in this fight. The team cannot dive in without somebody always dying. Dexter trying to do it this time, but he goes down along with the turret once again. Aphromoo, a good soul shackle this time, but they might not be able to get enough damage back in. Reginald falls to the hands of Doublelift. He tries for the fight, but OddOne gets himself in. The retribution kill actually going to Reggie himself. Nien on the ignite, the shield from Lulu, the swipe from Dyrus, and he brings the calling card in.
All told, that is a 3 for 2, still Baron buff on the rest of TSM, so they should be able to finish off this inhibitor. That was probably the best fight CLG has gotten, but it's still not enough.
11-4 here, 20 minutes into the game. The first inhibitor will fall with Baron surrounding Team Solomid. I don't think they're going to give up too soon. Bottom turret looks ready to be pushed.
Yeah, huge amounts of plays coming out from TSM. Take another look at this one. You can see, because he caught OddOne while he had turret aggro, it was a decent start, but the Jarvan is just a little lackluster. He's so far behind right now, and because Nien has been a complete non-factor in this game, it's like Dexter's playing a solo tank. You can see Shyvana on the minimap way in the back of this fight. 0 impact. It allowed the rest of TSM to push through, get the turret, and the inhibitor.
We were saying they're trying to get that team that dives in, but as far behind as they are, that becomes harder and harder, and TSM is forcing them into these fights now. The inhibitor just walked right up to, and they knocked it down without a worry. Oh, good quick move by Dyrus. Stopped the second slice.
Renekton against Vayne, if Vayne plays it properly, actually isn't that amazing. So that's why Dexter is the shock factor coming out of the turret, or out of the brush. Now they can just try and 5-man this dragon. It doesn't look like CLG can respawn. I do want to talk about, though, since this game has been so fast-paced, kind of how TSM got there. They're going to keep going fast.
Never mind, we may not have time to talk, but good shields. Black Shield as well, very immune onto Doublelift. They know they need to keep him alive. Can't be for Link, though, not the same result.
Definitely the worst performance Link has had on Lulu, but it's just been TSM catching them again and again. This is relentless pressure from TSM. 12 kills, 7 turrets, only 21 minutes in.
Team Solomid coming strong in the bottom lane now. It does not look like they're going to stop until they get the inhibitor turret. They can easily clear these waves back at CLG. This turret's going to be going down.
There's an outside chance they could even end the game here. If CLG tries to fight them and loses, the game would be over because of the dead inhibitor in the mid lane.
Well, they're keeping Nien off course of initiating on the fight. He's going to look to get a full Dragon's Descent across the team, but they have to be able to follow up. Already, CLG almost poised to fight another one, half health at the beginning.
Second inhibitor because of the link kill was indefensible for CLG. And now TSM pulls away. But this advantage is just happening for so many reasons. First off, TSM's ward control was absolutely amazing this game. They caught Dexter almost every time he wanted the gank, sitting in a brush. They also tracked Nien extremely well, and it was because of the ward control. If we think back really early on in the game, remember the 2 times they stopped him from recalling while Dyrus was free farming in the top lane and pushing the turret? Because of that edge, Dyrus never gave it back to Nien. Nien has consistently been 2 levels behind Dyrus, and that pays off in team fights as well. When Nien can't be a factor, TSM noticed the mobility creep from CLG, how they wanted to move around the map, and TSM trapped them in positions around turrets and found fights that way. Really just a fantastic game plan from TSM and even better execution.
We'll see how fast they can get back into the base. They're going full towards the top lane this time, because it's the only inhibitor turret they have to knock down along with its inhibitor. 2 open on the other side, which they will not have to worry about. Those lanes will be pushing by themselves in just a minute or so. 12,000 gold up, Team Solomid, looking to close this one out very early. Baron's going to be coming up in a minute 30.
It's a 12,000 gold lead right now.
Yep.
This is a nearly impossible position for CLG to defend from. They will soon have 2 waves of super minions coming into their base. TSM just needs to wait for that to happen, and then when CLG pulls defenders back, that's why they go early.
Going in the fight, can he get the lockdown? They got a good cocoon, which canceled out a bit of the Cataclysm, but he gets it down. A wild goal pops up 4 members. They're doing good so far, but not many kills coming in. The damage was there, but they couldn't continue to follow up. It was only on the WildTurtle. Link now running scared, but I don't know if he's going to make it far.
Yeah, CLG had to try a fight before the super minions got there. It was the only way they could have even found a 5v5, but they lost it badly because of the 12,000 gold disadvantage, and now TSM looks to push for the win.
It's going to be pings into the mid lane. Looks like Xpecial's ping is working once again. The whole team's in on this one. CLG really just scratching their heads about this game. It went awry quite early, and TSM made sure to take advantage of any mistakes they found throughout it. Third inhibitor goes down. Doesn't look like they have time for the whole thing.
We're only 22 minutes into the game, or 24 minutes into the game.
Right, fast timers, though.
People res pretty quick.
Low timers.
But they cleaned out 3 sets of inhibitors. A minion killed Link while he was trying to defend. Super minions surprise you.
They hurt.
With damage every once in a while. Little known fact, the damage aura that super minions get, and armor as well, multiplies with each other. That's why they surrender. There's 3 inhibitors down. Game over.
Wow.
That hurts.
That hurts indeed. The win streak is broken. Team Solomid very happy with the performance that game. 5-1-10 for WildTurtle in the AD carry matchup of our day versus Doublelift. Strong matchup of Sivir versus Vayne, but Sivir really making a name for herself here in the LCS the past few weeks.
A priority pick amongst these 2 teams. And CLG prioritized Morgana over Sivir in that matchup, but I don't think that's the reason this game was necessarily so one-sided. TSM just played better as a team and forced right through CLG's defenses.
It's crazy to see that the TSM play style stays so in line from Bjergsen and Reginald. Reginald's falling back into where he used to be. At least now that it's
Reginald's second week with TSM, it's been the whole team has been improving, and it's almost kind of like when Bjergsen came in, the shot calling of Reginald was gone, and everyone else had to step up. But when Reginald inserted himself back into the lineup, that didn't leave the rest of the team. Reginald isn't necessarily making the calls like he used to, and the improvements are still there from everyone else on TSM. He's getting better and better the more he's back into the LCS, even though this is still just temporary for Reginald. He is looking really good. Someone's got to take his Gagas away, get him out of that comfort zone.
I was going to say, that's one thing that can't happen. His other loss was on the Blanc. Dyrus pointing to the fences there. TSM says we're going first place all the way, and they get another win on this. 15-3